Hey folks, welcome back to the Feature Crew. Today we're going to be looking at Windsurf, specifically their SWE-1 family of models that they just released. Windsurf has been in the news for potentially being acquired by OpenAI for like $3 billion. They have announced these new set of models that we want to test today. We do have a paid account, which we're able to get SWE-1, I think it's promotional credits. These are posed as software engineering models, so not just only good at code, but good at other engineering. We'll put it through its paces and see how it goes.
If you've seen our videos in the past, you've noticed that coding agents sometimes struggle with the initial setup, like the cold start problem, particularly when we want specific versions of specific packages or libraries to be installed. And so I spent a little bit of time and set up a very lightweight, what I'm calling vibe shell. It's basically an environment that includes the basics so that they can get started very quickly. All this renders is just like a cube and a plane, and it implements physics with Rapier and 3D rendering with Three.js. So in our own testing, we've noticed much better performance in our sort of game dev simulation tasks with this vibe shell as a starting point. And so we're going to be using this here on out for all of our agentic coding videos. So the vibe shell is on my GitHub. I'll put a link in the description if any of you want to use it in your own testing. And with that, I think we can dive into the video.
In case folks haven't used it, this itself is Windsurf. It is another coding IDE. On the right-hand side is similar to GitHub Copilot Agent and so on. They call it Cascade. This is the kind of chat interface that is able to go through your workspace, call out to models, toolchain, run commands, and so on. Let's go ahead and use the actual SWE models because they are kind of custom built by the Windsurf team, so they'll hopefully offer the best performance. We're going to go ahead and do a city generation. We're going to give it the same prompt, just removing the constraint of it being a single HTML file. We have the spec, which is develop a city generator and simulation. We talk about procedural generation, and then we gave it that, lots of core features with bullet points. And the expectation here is that it can go back through and make sure it picks out quite a lot of this spec. So we'll go ahead and send this off. Awesome. So we're cutting back in now that it's actually gone through one iteration. Our first reaction as it was kind of streaming in was very impressive in terms of its ability to kind of break into a very realistic sort of application structure. If you look over here, we were kind of expanding through and seeing as it came through. It's actually broken into like assets and systems, and the structure it made was much more similar to a production environment. So much so when I was seeing this, I was like, wow, this is actually like pretty decent code.
Yeah, when we look at on the generators, while it hasn't implemented any sort of interface, the road generator and the building generator have the same constructor parameters and then the same main generate method. Yeah. So it's sort of starting to do this like higher level engineering thinking and making this thing extensible in the future. So I'm excited to see if this is able to run.
Okay. So unfortunately, as it came through, it's already got like a init issue and it's got some issue. I think it tried to make some global script thing going on. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and copy all of this, give it to Windsurf and see if it can fix itself. So we decided just to give it not the 3 warning. Let's just stick with the actual init issue, just so it doesn't get too like bugged out and try and do like a whole lot of like package changes and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
So allegedly it updated the Rapier initialization, removed the script tag, cleaned up package.json dependencies, ensured proper initialization of the physics world. We're just vibe coding here. Don't want to look too much into the code, but that seems rational. We'll go ahead and see if that made any difference.
Disappointing, because 4.1 and Claude were able to, in Windsurf, get something first try with the vibe shell.
So close. This .setup keyboard controls is not a function.
Oh, okay. We're making progress.
But we're just continuing to fix up some of the issues. Again, I guess credit to SWE-1. It's been pretty fast in finding relatively good solutions. A little disappointing that it didn't get something in one shot, although it does look very impressive. We're just continuing to iterate here, and hopefully we'll have something to show soon. Okay. Accept all. Yeah, it's getting closer.
So where we've gotten now is it seems like we can't see it, but it's at least reporting successful generation of a bunch of game objects, and then now it's trying to set up animations and screwing up there. So progress, although not visible. We'll see where we can get it.
Okay. So we finally, after persevering, got something.
After all of that?
After all that, we get this. I mean, initializing traffic, it says. It's got roads, but like everything's a bit glitchy.
Roads are those little...
Oh, these are the roads. They're just little, they're very small. Wow, a bit disappointing. It looks like
It kind of looks like what Europeans think American suburbia is.
I mean, it looks like it does have a lighting source. We have infinite FPS.
Does it actually say infinity there behind
It says infinity 10,000. Yeah, it's
We don't want to judge it too hard on the first thing it got to run. We don't know what it lost in the process of fixing bugs. So what we're going to do is give it a screenshot of what it was able to generate and ask for very high level overall improvements to sort of the graphics, the city generation, and then particular focus on fixing those roads that are broken. And hopefully as the process of fixing the roads, it can get some cars and NPCs out there, which was all part of that initial prompt as well.
So we gave it a bit of a prompt to make the city look better. You are able to attach screenshots, which is great. It's going through and analyzing, and let's see if it can make any successful changes. Fingers crossed, but we'll see. It made fucking wheels.
Oh my god!
It's gone. It's gone. Sorry, I've been trying to...
Huh?
What is that? It's super laggy. And I think they're trying to make, I don't know, like roundabouts. This is like... fully unaligned.
It like almost got halfway there,
Everything is now pizza boxes. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, this is pretty cooked.
I think this is, yeah. We tried for like a good ish minutes. This is how far it got. I think we're just gonna have to call it here for this test. Unfortunately, just
so far, yeah. I think like the pluses I can give it is that it got that first response out in an interesting structure, demonstrating some engineering thinking in its first pass. Then as it was fixing bugs, it was struggling. There were moments where it was like, hey, I fixed that bug really quickly. Awesome. There were moments where it was getting confused, deleting code, losing features. And then in terms of responding to our feedback, once it had something working, it totally broke down. So I wouldn't spend $3 billion on this, but I don't have $3 billion to spend. Let's see if it's any better. Games can be difficult for these things, especially procedurally generated games. There's not as many examples out in training data as there are for like web dev, let's say. So let's go over to something a little bit more day-to-day useful and see how it can do in sort of a web dev task. We've got our next test set up. It's going to be a little bit more traditional web dev, and we're going to start with how well it can understand the code base. So if you're regular viewers of the channel, you've seen NodeSpace before. This is our sort of feature crew playground that handles abstracting over a bunch of different model providers and then provides a bunch of different, basically, playground spaces that allow you to test those models in different environments. The first thing we're going to do is see how well SWE-1 in Windsurf can understand a code base, especially one that's sort of a novel implementation. We want to see how well it can understand the implementation we have here, and then we'll see if it can add a feature.
And here we go. It's starting to stream in. Core concept, modular design. It's built around the concept of spaces, different interfaces for different types of AI interactions. Kind of true. Picked up the multi-model support. It's picking up, obviously, nodes. Tried to give a summary of the technical stack, key features. And hey, I mean, it's doing an okay job of understanding everything.
It did go over a bunch of the things I said in my short summary. As the main developer of this thing, I think I approve of its understanding. And so I'm excited to see what it can implement.
Conversation. So we'll start a new conversation, and we're going to try have it make a solitaire space. So as we just talked about, each space can kind of do a different kind of functionality and orchestrate to different models. And what we want to have happen is different models be able to like either play or orchestrate solitaire. So we'll leave it kind of intent.
And it's off.
It's looking pretty good. It's thinking about making a game manager, reusing game state view components. So it's at least seemingly picking up on the intention of our request.
Dylan, you seem sad.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. Walks to window. No. Don't do it. Dylan, come back.
No.
You've got a lot to live for.
No.
It completed?
Looks like it did. It's added solitaire. If we go here, we add AI player, then we click start game. Whoa.
Okay.
Hey, that's not even that bad. That's looking pretty good. I've got a autoplay at the top. Got new game. Yeah, these kind of look draggable, but they're not. So I'm gonna click autoplay. Maybe I have to click new game.
Okay, go to the network tab first.
No, nothing.
It was able to add an AI player. We weren't able to select the model, which has me a little confused because like it needs to know what model to use. So I wonder if that's part of the problem. But then once the game generates, it's able to have the full game board, and new game does correctly reset the game. So what's not working right now is the ability for the AI to make moves. I think this is the last attempt here. So was it able to fix the LLM integration piece of Solitaire? Is that a no?
User model is not defined.
Yeah. So it seems like even on these sort of web dev tasks where it has implementation examples in the repo, it's still kind of struggling. To be transparent, this is like our third attempt to make a Windsurf video, and we've encountered sort of different sets of issues every time using different models. Gemini wasn't able to do anything. Some of the more recommended models were struggling with the cold start problem. And now, even though we fixed the cold start problem, Windsurf's own homebrewed model made for this interface is still kind of struggling with tasks that we can see other models do in other IDEs, and also models do in one-shot, in chat client, HTML pages. So I'm curious to see what viewers are experiencing with Windsurf on sort of difficult tasks that aren't like a to-do app. In our experience, it's been a little tough, but we know that these things vary across domains and across even specific prompts. So definitely let us know in the description what you're seeing. I will not be spending $3 billion on Windsurf anytime soon, or even maybe $20 a month for a subscription. Dylan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, but the same. Again, I thought the decisions it made were great, like in terms of seeing a little bit of glimpses of intelligence, but then just hasn't been able to connect the dots. So hopeful that this is, year of the agents and we're continuing to see increases in this kind of understanding, but just not quite there yet in true like world understanding in the sense of being able to like bridge that gap between cool implementation plan or dev design to actually implementing it. Fingers crossed. I mean, maybe SWE-2, SWE-3 will be interesting. Hey, who knows?
Yep. So, as always, if you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much for watching. We really tried to get some interesting result today, but we were struggling. And maybe that says all you need to know about the model and the underlying tool set. So, as always, let us know your experience in the comments below. Let us know what you want to see us test, and give us a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, everyone.